it. Our praise becomes, your house, your place, oh God. Do you believe it? We sing a song. Here we go. We sing a song and you come in, make a dance and you come in, shout your name and you come in, give you praise and you come in, sing a song and you come in, make a dance and you come in, shout your name and you come in, give you praise. Oh, you inhabit the praises of your people. Hey! Oh, you inhabit the praises of your people. Hey, our praise becomes, come on, your house, hey, your place. That's it. Oh, your house, God, let it become your place. Yes, it does. And our praise becomes, your house, your place, God, your place, oh God. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, we sing a song. Here we go, lift it up. We sing a song and you come in, make a dance and you come in, shout your name and you come in, give you praise and you come in, sing a song and you come in, make a dance and you come in, shout your name and you come in, give you praise. Oh, you inhabit the praises of your people. Hey! Oh, you inhabit the praises of your people. Yes, you do, God. Oh, yeah, you inhabit the praises of your people. Hey. Oh, you inhabit the praises of your people. Hey. Yes, you do, Lord. Come and live in our worship, Jesus. You said it is written, my house shall become a house of prayer. Make us into houses of worship. Make us into houses of prayer. Hey, all day long. Yeah. All day long. We want to worship you, Lord. Everywhere we go. Everywhere we go. Yeah. We sing a song and you come in, make a dance and you come in, shout your name and you come in, give you praise and you come in, sing a song and you come in, make a dance and you come in, shout was searching, your love was never far. You made a way to get to me. You were the whisper leading me to your heart. Forever I belong to you. Now I can see clearly, my God, you for me. You won't let go. Your love won't let me down. And I know it's true. Yeah, I know that your love is all around. I believe in you, holding on to you, holding on, and I know you will never fail. I will run of you, you never change. Your love won't let me down. Love won't let me Love won't let Right when I need you, you listen as I pray. You leave the 99 for me. You paint the sky with promises of your grace. So I will find my way to you. Now I can see clearly, my God, you for me. You won't let go. Your love won't let me down. And I know it's true.
Welcome to Lifepointe Online. We are so pumped that you are joining us this morning for Church Online. And if I've never gotten to meet you, you're like, who is this on the screen? My name is Ridge, and I get the privilege of serving as our online campus pastor here at Lifepointe. And I just love getting to be a part of what God is doing to reach people online. And maybe this is your first time hanging out with us, and maybe you're like, what even is this? Like, what can I expect from an online campus? Well, in short, Lifepointe Online, everything we do is designed to be an interactive online experience. And the reason I say interactive is we want this to be a two-way street. We don't want this to just be something where you cross your arms and you sit and you watch, but we want to be part of this experience, you with us. And specifically, we want to help you discover Jesus and connect with people. That's why we do everything that we do. And I really think you're going to have a blast this morning. So to tell you a little bit more about how we help you discover Jesus and connect with people, I want to bring up my friend Perry, who's going to tell you a little bit more about Lifepointe Online.
Thanks, Ridge. Like he said, my name is Perry, and I'm here to tell you a little bit more about Lifepointe Online. So the service that you're about to see is live right now. And we're so excited because you're going to be able to experience worship with us. And we're going to have a teaching from our lead pastor or somebody on our teaching team. The best part is we have a team that's here to answer questions for you. We're going to be commenting, and we're going to be able to pray for you guys. So if you guys have any requests, put those in the chat. We would love to hear from you. And for you guys that are parents, we have something designed especially for you. We have our own YouTube page that's called DP Kids YouTube. And what they do is they have tons of videos where you can go and experience Jesus on your kids' level. We also have a Lifepointe YouTube page. So if you've missed a message to the series, you can go back and you can look into that. And so I'm going to throw it back to Ridge. We're so excited that you're here.
Thanks, Perry. And listen, you have got to take a minute before this service starts and go request to join our Lifepointe Online Facebook group. And if you're wondering, what even is that? Okay, Lifepointe Church already has a Facebook page. And you're correct, we do. But this Facebook group is specifically for our online community. And it's our 24/7 virtual living room. so you can connect with people, have conversations with people that are a part of our community. We put all kinds of devotional resources and great stuff all throughout the week. So just search Lifepointe Online in Facebook, join that group. We would love to welcome you in. And again, that's one of the ways that we help you discover Jesus and connect with people. And speaking of connecting with people, maybe you're interested in joining an online life group. Did you know that we have those? People that live all across the country that are connecting via Zoom and doing life together. And we would absolutely love to plug you into one of those groups. And so if that's you and you want to join an online life group, or you have a question about anything that we've talked about in this pre-service countdown video, guess what? Our online host team is going to be ready to answer questions and connect with you in just a couple of seconds when the service starts. But before we do that, again, I just want to say thanks so much for taking time to join us for Church Online. And I really believe that Jesus has a special word for you and your family this morning. We love you, and we will see you in the chat.
Well, good morning, Lifepointe fam. The dynamic duo is back by popular demand. That rhymed, and I haven't got to meet you yet. My name is Anthony Dean. I am the art director here at Lifepointe, and this morning I am co-hosted by my good friend Kelsey Clifford, who serves in children's ministry. So this week there was a bit of a debate in the Facebook online group as to when you should do your Christmas shopping. So with that in mind, go ahead and throw your answer in the chat right now. When should you do your Christmas shopping? I'm a bit of a double answer.
Sure.
I believe you should start your Christmas shopping at the beginning of November. That's when Black Friday deals start to pop up. You can get some good discounts on some gifts.
Do you do that?
I unfortunately suffer from a disease called failure to plan ahead.
Yeah, for sure.
So it never fails. Every week, I do my Christmas shopping the week of Christmas. I know I have good intentions. It doesn't happen. What about you, friend? When do you do your Christmas shopping?
Well, I also think I have a bit of a complicated answer because I am not a person that likes to feel the pressure of Christmas.
Yeah.
So I am a really big advocate for like a Tuesday gift. Like I buy you a gift, I give it to you on a Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Love that. So I also sometimes fail to plan, not because I don't actually buy said gifts, I just don't keep them for the actual Christmas day. It's a bit of a problem. But I do appreciate a person who can shop in like March and find a good deal then. So I do appreciate a person who is an extra planner.
That's a bit too much extra planning. That's a little too much.
I say kudos. And just like, Anthony was talking about, you can definitely check out our Lifepointe Facebook group. It's a great place for us to connect with an online community for prayer, for encouragement. Just a great place for us. And then also silly things like debating about your Christmas shopping. So check it out.
And you can find that group by simply clicking the button that you'll see in the Lifepointe online link tree. That link tree is going to be posted several times throughout the morning in the chat, but it's also in the description right now in the live stream. And that link tree is a one-stop shop for you to find whatever you're interested in so that you can get connected and stay connected.
Yeah.
So you can simply click the button on what you're interested in, and it'll take you there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a super easy way. And again, everything is right there in that area. So some things that you can find are our DP Kids channel. Mm-hmm. It's a way for your kids to get connected also online. Another thing is with our Try 5. So if you are in your first 5 tries or just kind of checking us out, you can also get into to the linked tree and get some more information there. So again, just super easy, super quick, and you can find everything right there.
100%. And one last thing before we jump into worship this morning, one of the links that you'll find in the link tree is one for Christmas Village 2021.
Yeah.
And we've been doing this for as long as I can remember, since
several years.
I've attended Lifepointe. But what that is we partner with a bunch of churches in our community, and we as a church body go out and buy gifts, and we bring them to one of the hosting churches.
Yeah.
And so families can go ahead and buy Christmas gifts at a very low discounted price that may have trouble buying gifts for their families at this time. It's a great way to serve. It's a great way to bless others. And these families will be able to go out and have the pleasure of being able to provide for their family during this time. So if you want to find more about that, if you want to donate or serve, go ahead and click that button in the link tree to learn more.
Absolutely. And again, like Anthony said, it's a great way for you to serve, whether that is buying toys or, you can serve with your life group. It's a great opportunity to come and to bless others. And it's such a great experience for these parents to really feel like they can provide for their kids in such a hard time. So as we get ready to head into worship, let's go in and check in with Dan and the band.
Oh, we are here in your house, God. Mom, won't you move in power here? Hey, now let's put our hands together, church. Sing this out. When you move, darkness runs for cover. Oh, 'cause when you move, no one's turned away. 'Cause where you are, oh, fear turns into praises. Hey. And where you are, no hearts left unchanged. Oh, so come and move, God. Hey. So come, move, let justice roll on like a river. Let worship turn into revival. Lord, lead us back to you. Lead us back to you, God. When you move, the outcast finds a family. Oh, I love this right here. When you move, the orphan finds a home. Oh, Lord, here we are. Oh, teach us to love mercy. Oh, with humble hearts, we bow down at your throne. Jesus, Jesus.
sing it one more time. So come, move, let justice roll on. Let worship. Man, what I love about this song is man, it's just a call to get back to the heart of God. See, sometimes it's so easy to get in tradition. It's so easy to get in a routine of, hey, coming to church it's coming to church. See, God doesn't just want you present here. He wants your heart. And so I just want to sing that chorus one more time. And can we, with everything we have, say, God, I give you my heart. God, I give you all of me. God, let my worship, let my singing turn into revival. See, when revival happens, things change. See, that's a revival of your spirit. That is a turn back to God. So this morning, can we just turn back to God in these few minutes and say, God, I give you my all. Oh, God, I give you my worship. Oh, bring me back to your heart, Jesus. So bring me back to you. Oh, let's sing it one more time. Singing this, so come, move, let justice. Come on, let us sing loud. Let worship turn into revival. Lord, lead us back to you. Oh, we sing it one more time. Oh, won't you come, move, let justice roll like a river. Let worship turn into revival.
welcome back, everyone. And as always, the band crushed it. Did they or did they not, Kelsey?
It's so good. You know, something I love about our worship band is that you can tell when they're up there that they're all super passionate about what they're doing. They're not coming just to check in and check out. They're really coming to serve. And something that we just want to make sure that everyone knows is that if you have something going on in your life or something that's really overwhelming, we are here to pray for you all. And we genuinely do. We have a team that prays for the prayer requests that we get and also follows up on that. So if you do have any prayer requests, please make sure to send it to the number that's on the screen, and we really would love to pray for you all this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely don't want to gloss over that. I am one that needs prayer all the time, and I have a group of people that I know that I can text or call at any time throughout the week, and they'll do that for me in an instant. So if that is you this morning, please go ahead and text us. We have people that are waiting, willing, and wanting to go ahead and pray for you. So go ahead and do that if that's you. This morning, as we get ready to hear the message, I got to say that I'm excited because we're starting a brand new series called In My House, where we take a deep dive into the heart of the house, heart of the church, you know, what makes Lifepointe Lifepointe, and what makes people wanting to come week in and week out. So whether you've been watching online for months or this is your first time, I really believe that God is going to speak to you today and throughout this series. So let's go ahead and join Pastor Nate in the auditorium for week 1 of In My House.
Yeah.
We're starting a brand new 4-part teaching series that I'm entitling In My House. Everyone shout, In My House. You got to say it again like you're a mom with some attitude, like your son just brought the football team over, ruining your carpet. 1, 2, 3, in. Let's go. Here's what I know to be true about your house is the same actually about my home, and is actually the same about this house, the house of Lifepointe. And that is every house has a way. Every house has a way. Every house has a standard in which your home operates, a culture, a system, a feel. Every house has a way. When I was growing up, I'm one of 3 brothers. I'm the middle boy. And my dad worked a lot in the evenings. He did sales. So my poor mama, she was outnumbered. Is anybody else in the house, any moms raising just boys? Just boys. Yeah, look at this. This is what you need an award, okay? We need a trophy in the lobby for you. And this is my mom. And I think my mom's way of maintaining her sanity was she loved to have a clean house. She did, which I know it seems like oxymoron because of all the boys in the home, but this was her way. Like, she had to have a clean house. So she had some house rules. Here's a few of them. She would say this to us boys all the time. In my house, I like this one right here. Shoes off at the front door. Y'all got a shoe off at the front door? Yeah, some of you, that's a rule in your home, which I'm fine with. Does anybody make grown adult guests take their shoes off? Do you make? Yeah, this is where I draw the line. Because this is odd, isn't it? It's like, I don't know you like that. I'm not sure if I want to expose my feet to you. I'm a little insecure about the shape of my feet, and maybe I'm wearing the socks with the holes in it. Like, we can't do that on the first time we get together. But my mama didn't care. She didn't care. You could be 65 or 6. When you walked into her blue carpet, okay, this was the 90s. She got blue, brand new carpet put downstairs throughout the living room and the downstairs. You had to take your shoes off. And my mom was obsessed. She would put vacuum lines in the carpet like she was mowing the grass at Wrigley Field. I'm telling you, this is what moms do to feel like they're in control when their life is out of control. But that was one of the standards of the house. Here's another one. She would always say this: in my house, no eating on the furniture. Okay, a few of you got that. You're like, I gave up on nice things a long time ago. I get it. Which I think this is a great rule, but it didn't make sense for my house because my mom also was the one that had plastic covers on all the furniture. Okay, she had sheets on all the upholstery, which I didn't understand the two. The only time my mom would ever take the plastic off of the couches is when special company came over, but that's what she did. But here's the final one, and we knew this one. Like, out of all the standards, ways of the home, we did not break this one, and that was on Thursday nights. It doesn't matter if you're bleeding, crying, or dying. On Thursday nights, it is ER night, baby. Y'all know what I'm talking about? She would say, in my house, I get 1 hour to myself a week. It's between 9 and 10 p.m. and I watch ER. And this is original ER, like George Clooney. ER, right? There was no Bachelor back then. This was her guilty pleasure. It was George Clooney on ER. So like, she put the fear of God inside of us that we don't come down those steps. I mean, you literally better be limping, missing a leg to interrupt George Clooney ER night in my house. Whew, we knew mom didn't play around. But there's another saying that my parents really instilled in us that I don't think at the time they realized it, but it's so good that my wife Emily and I, we've adopted this into our home. And they would say this all the time, in my house, everybody's welcomed. Everybody's welcomed. And they meant that. I mean, they always had a pot of coffee and a Sara Lee bundt cake ready to go at any time. And we did. It was a revolving door. And I would always know as a kid, even like a middle school, high school kid, the seriousness level of the conversation by which room they were talking in. Right? Because if it's the living room, that's casual. Everyone's kind of talking. We might even kind of jump in a little bit. But the more intense the conversation got, my parents would say, well, let's go. Yeah, you just said it. Let's go into the kitchen. The kitchen, this is where the real talk took place. This is where real life happened. If it was something serious, we would move into the kitchen. And I say this because really what I want to do over the next 4 weekends is invite you into the kitchen of Lifepointe. I want to share with you who we are as a church and why we exist. And hopefully this is the church that you love to attend. And you might not be able to put a word on it, but there's a reason why you just love what God is doing here. And I would say it's because at Lifepointe, we have a way. We have a standard in which we do things to reach people with the full life message of Jesus. And one of those ways of our house is coming up on December the 5th. As a church, we come together the first Sunday of December at the end of the year, and we all come together for what we call our end of year expansion offering. And this year, we're calling it Heart for the House. Heart for the House on December the 5th. And I love this expansion offering. It's one time of the year where I'll ask everybody who attends Lifepointe to prayerfully consider giving a one-time gift over and above your regular financial giving towards expansion. And I use this word expansion because this is just what I love about you, because this isn't me, this is all of us. That your week in and week out generosity, when you trust the Lord with your tithes and percentage give, you meet the budget. You meet everything that you see here, all the ministries, everything that takes place is provided through you, God, through you, which then allows us to come together once a year to give a gift of faith for the future. I call this a legacy offering where 100% goes towards expansion. And we've seen God do incredible tangible things over the last 5 years through this expansion offering. I mean, if you just think about it, depending on how long you've been here, it was about 5 years ago when we first stepped onto this property and we saw this land, and this building wasn't here, and there's just a big old field that used to have some soccer fields on it, and Lifepointe Church was 12 at the time, and we were setting up and tearing down and breaking down and setting up portable for 12 years. And we just started praying, man, God, what would it look like if we could actually get a home base and have a place that we could call home and pass on to our kids and our kids' kids. And matter of fact, this is a picture of my son. He's 6 in the photo. And we're just walking the property. He's 11 now. And this was a dream. What you're sitting in now was just a dream of God. And it was that expansion offering back 5 years ago where a couple hundred families got together and we committed to give over and above our regular giving. And we were able to buy this land, which is just under 12 acres, and build what we called phase 1. And we started construction, and it was incredible time to be a part of Lifepointe. And back in 2017, we had our first grand opening Sunday. And it was bananas. I mean, for 18 months, we grew as a church by over 80%. We went from 1 service to 2 to 3. I couldn't talk by the end of the day. It was great and horrific all at the same time. And the Lord was doing some incredible things. So we started praying about, okay, God, what's next? And then that next year's expansion offering, we said, hey, why don't we start a church plant? Not here locally, but internationally. So we actually started a church with Compassion International in Ecuador. And we're right now, this is amazing, 125 kids in that community where we started the church are being sponsored by you. And so then it was the next year's end of year giving. A couple years ago, we started dreaming about using this building for the community, and we launched Lifepointe Preschool. We didn't want this building just to sit empty. We wanted it to be used by the community. And here we are, this is only the second school year of the Lifepointe Preschool. And because of the incredible leadership by Audra and Joellen and their team, we are already maxed out on a waiting list. Isn't that awesome, man? Just in 2 seasons, and God's using this, it fills it up throughout the week. And it was because of that end of year giving that allowed us to have the upfront money to build the playground and get all the equipment that is needed. And then we started planning phase 2. And it was that end of year giving that allowed us to have the money to be able to start that project. And then last year's end of year giving, this expansion offering, we officially commissioned back in January of this year, phase 2 of our building. And God does this because once a year, we're just crazy enough to get together to dream big and say, Lord, what do you want for this church? Now, as exciting as seeing buildings go up and starting churches internationally and preschools and all this incredible stuff, we do this because we know it results in life change. Can I tell you that in 3 years, y'all are gonna go nuts for this. In just 3 years, we've seen 217 people give their life to Jesus for the very first time. Come on, just 3 years. Isn't that amazing? And that's people that have told us. We know that there's more, but those are people who have identified, they've been baptized, 217 people in just 3 years. To me, this number is what is absolutely crazy. In just 3 years, we have given away as a church to our ministry partners, like Chris was describing, $440,000 in just 3 years. That's the kind of church, come on, that we're a part of. And I tell you this just to show you what happens when all of us get together and we say, all right, God, this can't just be about us. We believe in the future and what you're doing here. We want to continue. We want to put gasoline on the vision of reaching people with the full life message of Jesus. So on December the 5th, we get to stand in the gap between heaven and earth and watch God use us. So this year we have 2 key initiatives. 2 key initiatives I want to share with you. The first one, part of the money is going to go towards helping start a church planting network right here in York County. Unapologetically, we want to reach York County for Christ. Unapologetically. We live in the fastest growing county in the state of South Carolina. We live in one of the top fastest growing counties in America. And the question I'm asking myself is why? Lord, why have you positioned me, why are we here? I don't think it's random. I don't think your job just got you here. I think the Lord has you here for a specific reason. And what I know is that we can't build enough buildings and start enough Lifepointe campuses to house all the people that are relocating to this area. And so we're gonna use our community partnerships and we're gonna get other churches involved. I don't care if it's Methodist, Baptist, non-denom, we're gonna come together to plant difference-making, gospel-centered churches all around the Carolinas and York County so that we can reach the county for Christ. I'm fired up about that. And your money is gonna help start that. What do I mean by that? I mean, it's gonna allow us to create a residency program where we're gonna be housing church planters and interns. It's gonna allow us to give them seed money when they actually go to plant the church for all the upfront equipment that's needed. Some of you are even gonna go with them. You're just finding that out right now. Like, you don't even know. But like Chris said, this is not about building the kingdom of Lifepointe. I am much more concerned about building the kingdom of God. So we're excited about that. Then the other part of the money is gonna stay right here. And it's gonna prepare us for what's next. Now, here's what I know and what I don't know. I don't know exactly what next is. But what I do know is that God calls his people to stay ready. So that if what's next for us on this campus is to build the final phase 3, which is the final phase that this campus can support, we're gonna be ready to do it. If God wants us to pay down mortgage debt, we're gonna do that. If he wants us to start a campus, we're gonna do that. Buy this, give this away, whatever it is, God. He wants his people to be in a position where we can just stay ready. And so on December the 5th, I want you to start praying now about, all right, Lord, how can you use me? And I say this every year. There is no gift too small and there is no gift too large for you to be a part of this. You might be a college student right now, a high schooler, slinging ice cream scoops at Brewster's, and you're gonna drop $100, and that's big for you. Or you might be really far into your career, and the Lord has blessed you in that area, and you're gonna be able to give one of those catalytic gifts, that there is no gift too small and no gift too large. This is the beauty of the local church as we begin to pray through this. Now, this is not a series about money. So everyone just take a deep breath, exhale. Yeah, we feel good? Are we good? Yeah, and by the way, if you're new to Lifepointe, there's no expectation for you to give on December the 5th. Matter of fact, we did all this for you. These next 4 weeks, though, if you are newer to Lifepointe, it's the perfect 4 weeks to make sure that you're a part of. Because really, I'm just gonna be sharing with you the ways of our home. Matter of fact, let me give you a little roadmap of what you can expect over the next several weeks. Today, we're gonna talk about how people are our passion. People are our passion. At Lifepointe, serving is our privilege. Thanksgiving weekend, generosity is our responsibility. And then on the Giving Sunday, December the 5th, how legacy will be our history. So with that, if you got a Bible, I want to talk to you today, part one, why we say the way of our home is at Lifepointe Church, people are our passion. Grab your Bible. Let's go to Luke chapter 15 today. Luke chapter 15 is going to frame our talk today. Luke 15, why people are our passion. Not programs, thank God. Not methodology of ministry, that's not our passion. Not a worship style, whatever. It's going to come, it's going to go. But people's our passion. And I want to lay this foundational statement that's really going to kind of be what I build on today that I think is going to communicate why people are passionate. This might challenge your thinking a little bit. But when it comes to church, I want you to write this down. The church doesn't have a mission. The mission has a church. Think about that. Yeah, the church doesn't have a mission. The mission has a church. What am I referring to? The mission of Jesus. Now, at Lifepointe Church, we have a mission statement. And that's great, right? That defines who we are. We say all the time that we are all about people helping people discover full life in Jesus. That's why we're here. Every word is prayed over, thought out, people helping people, because this church isn't mine. This church doesn't belong to our elder board or some group of random volunteers. Like, this is your people, I'm people. So it's people helping people discover the full life that Christ died for us to have. And that's great, but as long as we understand that church mission statements, that's a man-made thing. You know that, right? Like when Paul was writing New Testament letters, like to Ephesians, they weren't like, here's our mission statement. Like that we made that up. Nothing wrong with that. It gives clarity, it gives distinction, as long as we understand that the church doesn't have a mission. The mission has a church. And the mission is found in Matthew chapter 28. Right before Jesus ascends into heaven, he has his disciples on the mountain and he's getting ready to tell them one final thing. And he looks at them and he basically says, it's your turn. You're up. Hey, I know these last 3 years, you didn't realize what you were getting into, but every miracle I did, every message I taught, those long walks on the beach and up in the mountains, it was to prepare you for this moment. Your turn. It's time for you to go. You are going to be the vehicle, the delivery system of this gospel message of love, hope, and grace. And he said it like this: go, baptize in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, teaching them, people, to obey everything that I've commanded you. Go to the ends of the earth. So why are people our passion? Because people, that's the mission. People's the mission. Like, again, Jesus didn't die for programs. Jesus didn't hang on the cross thinking, man, I hope they win a Dove Award for this. He didn't die for worship music. No, he died on the cross, defeated sin and death to reunite, connect people back into a relationship with their creator God. And at Lifepointe, that's our passion. And I know what you might be thinking, because we got some skeptical people in the house, right? Or maybe they're watching online. You're like, okay, this is great, people, I get it. But like, what kind of people? I mean, certainly not like all people. I don't have to be passionate about all people. I mean, what about like crazy people? Is that our crazy people? Is that our passion? Certainly not political people. That's right. How about those people? So whose people are we talking about? Well, I'm really glad that you asked that question quietly to yourself in your mind, because Jesus in Luke 15 is actually going to answer that question. You're not the first one to think that. Luke 15 is often referred to as one of the greatest parables that Jesus ever taught. A parable is simply a heavenly story, an earthly story that has heavenly meaning. And he's telling us this story in Luke 15 out of a response because the religious Jewish leaders saw Jesus hanging out with prostitutes, sinners, and tax collectors, or what we would call those people. Whoever those are in your mind, that's who Jesus is dining with. And the religious leaders see this, and it says that they begin to mutter, they begin to gossip, they begin to talk underneath their breath. And so Jesus answers the question why he's hanging out with those people by telling a story. It's really one story that has 3 parts. And I want to look at this together today that I think will communicate the heartbeat of our house today. Here's what it says, Luke 15, verse 1. If you're ready, shout, I'm ready. You ready? Here we go. It says, now the tax collectors and sinners were all gathered around to hear Jesus. But the Pharisees and the teachers of the law muttered, this man welcomes sinners and eats with them. Then Jesus told him a parable. He said, okay, suppose one of you has 100 sheep and you lose one of them. Doesn't he leave the 99 in the open country to go after the one lost until he He goes home. Then he calls his friends and his neighbors together and says, rejoice with me. I found my lost sheep. I tell you that in the same way, there will be more rejoicing in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous persons who do not need to repent. The parable of the lost coin is the next one, verse 8. Or suppose a woman has 10 silver coins and loses one. Doesn't she light a lamp, sweep the house, search for it carefully until she finds it? And when she finds it, she calls her friends and her neighbors together and says, hey, rejoice with me. I found my lost coin. Which, that's kind of weird, isn't it? You ever been invited to a party? And like, man, I'm throwing this big party, man. I want to invite you to come. Cool, what's it for? Birthday? No, not a birthday. Retirement? Not retirement. Is it graduate? No, not graduation. I lost a coin and I found it. Wow, that's interesting. But you're going to see the heart of God. There's something lost, it's found, and there's a party. Ooh, why do we do Sunday morning church the way we do? Why do we clap and sing and lift our hands? Because every Sunday is a party. This is what God is inviting us into. This is amazing. I rejoice. I have lost my coin. In the same way, I tell you, this is Jesus. There is rejoicing in the presence of angels of God over one sinner who repents. If you're taking notes, the reason why people are a passion is because there's urgency. Urgency. That's what these first two parts of the story communicate. The lost coin and the lost sheep. There's a sense of urgency. And have you ever noticed that when something of value is lost and there's urgency, whatever urgent takes priority? Like, have you ever lost something and it just ruined the next 3 hours of your day? Come on, car keys. Yeah. How about your wallet? I'm gonna get you with this one, your cell phone. Let's go 9:30. Like, you could be in Target and you could misplace your kids and you're just kind of casually looking for them. You lose your cell phone, boy. You're like flipping over coat racks and going through toys to find. Don't act like you don't do that. It's a part of you. You can have my kid. Give me my phone. But this happens to me. Actually, not too long ago, we were doing a family night, a family movie night. And we got all 3 kids. I have 3 kids. We get them into the living room, and they're sitting down on the couch, and they all 3 agreed on the same movie. Which, that's the miracle. That's the win. And we go to turn on the TV. Now, what happens next, in part, I blame the smart TV companies. Because have you noticed, as these TVs are getting smaller, the remotes are smarter, the remotes are getting smaller? Have you noticed this? And forget the Apple TV. I've lost the Apple remote before I ever got it out of the box. Right? It's like, seriously, it's like 1 inch thick and 2 inches tall. It's gone. I've already lost it before I ever touched it. And so all of a sudden we're trying to turn the TV on, can't find the remote. Instantly, I'm frustrated, right? I'm losing my mind because the misplacement of the remote is a repeated offense in the Seaman house. So I'm like, all right, kids, everybody up, get in groups of 2. We're searching for this. You 2, you take the couch, you get the rugs, you guys look over here. We're starting to look up, we can't find it. All of a sudden I look up and I can't see my 11-year-old son. He's slipped away into the game room to play the one game that's ruined our family, Fortnite. I'm like, son, I had Fortnite when I was a kid. I built a fort at night. That was a bad joke. He didn't think it was funny either. So I'm like, get out here, right? So we're looking, no lie, 20, maybe 30 minutes. We're flipping the house upside down to find this remote because we're having a family night because people tell me that family's supposed to be important. So I'm trying to do this thing. And we finally, 30 minutes later, we find the remote. It was in my pocket the whole time, but that's beside the point. That's a true story, but it's beside the point. Right, what was I doing? Well, I lost something. It had value. And because it has value, there's urgency. And whatever is urgent takes priority. I've got to find it. And it's easy to hear this story, to read this story, and go, whoa, wait a minute though. Slow down, let's back up. What's the big deal? One lost coin. One lost sheep. I think we're going to be okay with the mass that we have. Our ratio of lost to found is really solid. If somebody gives me $100 and I lose $1 bill, I might casually look for it on the surface, but I'm not flipping the house apart over a $1 bill, right? And couldn't you make a really good case that it's actually more irresponsible of a shepherd to leave the safe 99? The ones that listen to his command. Aren't you going to put them at risk if you go out into the rough Middle Eastern terrain to search for the one that, by the way, did not listen and disobeyed you? Come on, we got the 99. And Jesus goes, that's the point. That's the point. That often in our lives, what the religious leaders, remember he's talking to the religious leaders, who are those people. What the religious leaders were willing to walk right on by. They were willing to walk right past the one that desperately need them. You know, the one that everyone had given up on, the one that everybody had deemed unworthy, the one that everyone said, well, they made their choice and they're living out their consequence. Jesus steps into the scene and he's looking at us today and he's going, what religion stepped over, grace picks up. Come on, church, what religion is willing to walk right on by, Jesus has to stop and help. When everybody else is called unworthy and unredeemable and a lost cause, Jesus says, I see value, I see significance because I'm passionate about all people. And my prayer for our church going into the next season is that we never lose our sense of urgency for people, because we have the only message that can save their life. It's the only message that can restore a marriage. It's the only message that can set an addict free and give value and purpose and meaning back to human life, and it is the message of Jesus Christ. Come on, do you believe that today? Listen, I don't have good news. He's good news. I'm not the way. He's the way. I don't have the answers. He's the answer. And my prayer is that we never lose our sense of urgency. And we never just get, complacent. Because when it stops becoming urgent, we will grow complacent. And a complacent church is a dying church. And the reason why people are passionate is because you never know when that one lost coin, that one lost sheep is your child, my family member, my loved one. That's why people are passionate. It's urgent. It's urgent. The second reason, we're going to see it in the back part of the story. That's the first two parts. The third part is the most familiar. This is a story of the prodigal son. You familiar with this possibly? Jesus now shows us the heart of the Father. Not only is it urgent, but the other reason why people are passionate is because it's personal. And so because people are personal, he showcases the heart of the Father. There's the back end of the story, there's a dad, he has two sons. And this dad is wealthy because the younger son comes into dad and he wants an advancement on his inheritance. Which in this culture, if you were to ask for an advancement on your inheritance, it is equivalent to saying, Dad, you're dead to me. Because typically an inheritance was not passed down until the father had passed away. So this younger, entitled, spoiled little brother comes in and says, Dad, I want my money and I want it now. And the dad says yes. He gives this boy his money. Sure enough, the boy's chartering a private jet straight to Las Vegas. He's renting out the penthouse suite on the 50th floor of the hotel. He's got big stacks of chips hitting the blackjack tables. He's got private VI booth in all the clubs. His bottles are on him. I mean, money coming out of everywhere. And guess what? So did the friends. He's got this new group of friends who are loving this new high life until one day the money runs out, because it always runs out. And when the money runs out, how many of you know that's when the friends run out? That's when you know who your real friends are, when you got nothing to offer them. Well, that's another sermon another day. And so this younger boy's in a low place. He's in a really low place. It's so low that he's actually daydreaming of what it would be like just to be a hired servant back on his dad's farm. Not as a son, just a servant. Sure enough, this boy writes an apology letter to dad and messed up a couple times and finally got it perfect, exactly what he wanted to tell his father. He makes his way back home, and to his surprise, there's dad running down the long gravel driveway towards him, which again, in this culture, Jewish men of this prestige and wealth did not run, because running would require the man to lift up his tunic, his robe, to expose his legs, which was not something that a person of this type of stature would do. But he's running after his son, not with his finger pointed like this, but with his arms open wide. And this boy's trying to get out an apology, but dad won't even let him apologize. He automatically loves him and embraces him. And he says, come on, we're going to restore everything back to you. We're going to get your robe back on you, your jewelry, your rings, and we're going to throw you a party, because what was lost is now found. And so we pick up in verse 25, because there's another brother, the older brother, the good brother, the one that never left, the one that did all the right things, gets word that this wayward, spoiled little brother of his has returned. And the servant tells him, oh, he hasn't just returned, but they're throwing him a party. Like, we're talking filet mignon. They got the chocolate fondue fountain. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. They got the dance floor. They got the DJ Cali. It flew in from Cali. He's spinning the music. Everybody who's everybody is at this party. You got to come home and see what your dad has done. So with that, look at this part in verse 25. It says this, meanwhile, the older son, the good one, was in the field, and when he came near the house, he heard music and dancing. That part got me. How do you hear dancing a far ways away? Like, you gotta really be getting it. I'm just saying, like, this isn't like, nice and proper. Like, they're getting down on this dance floor for him to hear the dancing from a distance. I love this. So he called one of his servants and he asked him, hey, what's going on up in that house up there? And, well, your brother, he's come home, he replied, and your father has killed the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound. Don't miss this. Jesus is teaching us this to show us the heart of the Father, how he loves those people. That's the context. Because this right here, what we're reading, this might be the most irresponsible, illogical part of the entire Bible. I mean, this boy who doesn't deserve anything comes back home. He's wasted his dad's hard-earned wealth on prostitutes and regret. And he comes home and his dad embraces him and doesn't make him a servant. He makes him a son. And now he's throwing him this massive party. And there's the wayward son immediately on the dance floor doing the electric slide with his cronies. Like, what? Who does this? I mean, this boy that deserved nothing was given everything. And look what the brother has to say. He doesn't approve. Look at verse 28. He goes, the older brother became angry and he refused to go in. It's interesting. So his father went out and he pleaded with him. But he answered him, look, all these years I've been slaving for you and you never disobeyed my orders. Yet you never gave me even a young goat so that I can celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours, who has squandered your property with prostitutes, comes home, you kill the fattened calf for him. Yeah, finally somebody is thinking logically, right? I mean, it's about time somebody spoke up. I mean, there's a thing called consequences. You make a choice, you got to serve the consequence. You know how this story should have read? Should have read that the young boy came home, he had his head tucked low. There's dad watching from a distance. Dad slowly walks to him and he finally embraces his son. He looks at him in the eyes and he says, how dare you ruin everything and my reputation in this family? Here's what you can do. You get inside of that barn where the horses are. You can take a bath with the water that the horses drank out of, because tonight we're throwing a party for your older brother, the better one, the one that was here, that never left me, that serves me faithfully every time. And so there's the younger son. He humbly goes into the party and dad's like, you don't even think about getting on that dance floor. You go in the corner and you think about what you did, right? Isn't that what we would have done? All right, I'm gonna teach you a lesson, boy, because if I don't teach you a lesson, who's gonna teach you the lesson? But not this dad. Can I ask you a question? Here's what I've been thinking about all week. How long was the son home before he was reinstated and then immediately dancing on the dance floor? How long did that take? 30 minutes? The boy gets home within 30 minutes. They're having a party, an hour. I'll give you 3 hours, okay? That's enough time for the boy to get shaved, to take a shower, to get cleaned up, to get the dance floor and all the guests there. The point is, immediately the father reinstated his son. He didn't make him wait for it and earn it. God, this is the heart of the Father for us. And I just got to wonder today, how many of you are at the party, but you feel unworthy to get on the dance floor? It's like you show up and you feel like you need to be that kid in the corner and you feel undeserving, unworthy. And to me, the good news of the gospel is that the moment you sin, the instant you get it wrong and drop the ball, the best place to be is in a relationship with Jesus. I think he's inviting some of you to get onto the dance floor instantly. And this is what I love about our church, because we have some stories today that, well, one in particular that I want to share with you of a lady in our church who in a lot of ways can relate to this prodigal son, that there were some things in her life that made her feel unworthy to be in a relationship with Jesus. And honestly, she attended the party, but never felt like a child of God to get on the dance floor. And I want you to hear today from a friend of mine named Heather. So would you guys give a Lifepointe welcome to Heather this morning? Come on, let's welcome her to the stage. So good to have you. Welcome to the kitchen table.
Yes.
So each week of the series, we're going to do kitchen conversations, and you're the first one today. And first of all, just thank you so much for your willingness to share today a little bit of your story and kind of how God has really revealed himself to you. So it's good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so a little bit of context. How long have you, your husband Chris, how long have you guys been coming to Lifepointe?
We've been coming to Lifepointe for 7 years.
7 years. So you remember us in the old building?
Yes.
And those transitions,
Yes.
and which is pretty cool. What I love about Heather's story, her son Christian, her oldest son, who's actually here today with us, which is pretty cool. He's been such a key part of your relationship with God. In a lot of ways, he's been the one that has helped encourage you to take steps, not even knowing what was going on in your past. So just share, I think that's really unique as a mom, how your son is a big part of the reason why you're here today.
Yeah, so I was a single mom, raised in Christian, and I always promised him that I would provide for him the best way I could. So I always tell him that he's the reason why I am who I am today.
Wow.
He's the reason why I set high goals. And he's the reason why we accepted Christ and we're here at Lifepointe.
Yeah. Yeah, share about that, because he started coming first, and then...
He did, and we were late one morning to our old church service, and I was like, let's go. And so we came, and funny story is, my brother and his wife were standing at the door as greeters, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
You guys live in Belmont. How are you here?
Yeah.
And so we've been here every Sunday since.
Yeah, and then you were at your Christian's baptism.
Yep. Yeah, Christian got baptized in 2017.
Yep.
And on the way, as we're driving, I remember it was me and Chris and Christian in the car. We had another carload of guys behind us, and he was begging me, join me in the pool. Let's get baptized. Let's get baptized together. And I just knew that I wasn't ready that day. I was carrying some burdens, and that day I just wasn't ready.
Yeah,
I didn't feel like I was ready.
Yeah, I think that's so powerful, because I think that's how a lot of people feel often when it comes to taking steps within their relationship with the Lord, where there's something that happened to you and you felt like that sort of disqualified you from feeling worthy enough to even get in the waters and declare your public confession. Yeah. So in a lot of ways, like this story that we just read, you were at the party, you just didn't feel like you could get on the dance floor. No. Like you could show up to church, but does God really want to dance, be in a relationship with me? So share a little bit about that if you don't mind. I know some of that stems from some abuse that you experienced when you were younger that you carried with you. So share a little bit.
So for 27 years, I've had this burden that had affected my life. 27.
Wow.
It affected my life, my daily life, my life with the Lord, my kids, my husband, my marriage. And I know over the years I've missed out on relationships or friendships with others because I've just built this wall of hate, anger, and just hoping not to get hurt again.
Yeah.
I made myself believe that I could not, if I couldn't forgive them, that I couldn't be accepted by Jesus.
Wow.
And so...
that created that distance, those walls.
Yeah.
And so 27 years. 27 years of walking with this that really nobody really knew. You had kept that pretty private and impacted a lot of relationships, even God. And then all of a sudden, in June, I know you know the exact day, everything shifted that morning. It's a Sunday morning, getting ready for church this past June. You don't know this, but we're doing Baptism Sunday that day. So you woke up, walk us through that day.
It was 6/13/2021.
Okay.
Just a normal Sunday. We're getting ready. Well, my oldest was in town from college.
Yeah.
And so he hadn't been home. It was crazy. He was there. We were getting ready. I'd made breakfast and we were listening to Christian music. And every song that came on, it just kept pulling me more and more towards it. One of them was Fear is a Liar.
Yep.
You're My Joy. Child of God. Waymaker.
Yeah.
And the last one that took me to my knees was Lord, I need you. And so I found myself crying and telling God that I give it all to him, that just take my pain, that I need you.
Something that you've been holding on for so long, thinking you could deal with it. God broke you in that moment. Before a sermon was ever preached, in a private moment with you, listening to music. So you come to church. I think you even said you're sitting like right over here, and
I get up and just walk away. My husband and my son were like, what? You know, Christian. It was the morning that Spark went from elementary to middle school too. So Colton was over there having a good time.
And we're baptizing people.
Yes. And so I'm watching them step in and out, in and out. And I just felt Jesus calling me, like, get up, get out of your seat. Let's go. So I get up, and Christian and Chris didn't even know what was going on. I could see them like, where's she going? And I come around the corner and just land in Emily's arms. And we ended up in the overflow auditorium. I missed baptism because I literally laid in her arms for 20, 30 minutes.
Wow.
She reminded me that God made this day for me. He made this day to open my heart, to make me feel whole again. He just released all my burdens. He made me feel whole. And so the next 10 minutes, we're scrambling, trying to figure out how is Heather going to get baptized? Because I was not expecting this. You guys weren't expecting this.
I remember I got that message. We're like, all right, we got this baptism at the end of the service. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
So
I come back and sit with Chris and Christian, and they were just, they were worried because I was gone for so long. I came back, I'm not upset, but I feel relieved, and I'm smiling, and I kind of like have this like shake to me, like, you got it. So we came back, got in the pool, got baptized. That moment was the most amazing moment I've ever felt.
Wow.
For 27 years, I never told my story. I never felt whole again. That morning, I knew he loved me.
Wow. That's powerful. We encourage that. Well, they always say that a picture speaks 1,000 words, and I love this picture of you coming up out of the water right here to me. Come on, isn't that awesome right there? Can't you see that? You can almost feel that release, and finally I'm home. God accepts me. I'm on the dance floor. I mean, what a powerful moment. What a powerful moment. So how do you feel now? Like, how's that been?
I feel like I'm changed. He's removed people out of my past. He's brought an amazing community of believers, some that's gone through the same thing as I have. He's restored my heart, most definitely. And what keeps in my mind every day is the 5 songs. I was lost, but I'm found. Fear is always going to be a liar. I will always be a child of God. He will make the way for me, and I will always need him.
Wow. Well, thank you for your courage. Thank you for your bravery, your willingness to come to the kitchen, have this conversation. A 27-year burden. God was pursuing you all those 27 years, and finally it came to that moment, and here you are today, just walking in that grace and that testimony. So thank you for your heart.
Thank you.
Give me that one more time. Appreciate it. Thank you. Amazing. Church, that's our why. That's why people are our passion. Because people isn't just a word, it has a face. Like, I want you to think about when I say people, who do you think of? That's why we exist as a church. Because you never know on any given weekend or watching online when someone's gonna come carrying a 27-year burden that has made them feel like they are unworthy and undeserving to be in a relationship with Jesus when God breaks those walls down. And to me, this is the power of the local church. So today, I want us just to start praying about December the 5th, because that's what we're giving towards, to see more life change. So if you would, as we get ready to close today, just grab this card out of your seat back. If you're in the front, it's right there on the seat. Just go ahead, everybody grab one. I'll give you a second. Go ahead, just grab it out of your seat back right there. And today, I just want you to start praying. That's it. And there are 2 ways specifically that we're asking you to have a heart for the house. One is on the front side, and it's by joining a serve team. Everything that Heather just shared, all the volunteers that made that happen. I mean, when you serve and you're a part of this house and you're invested, it really does make a difference. Now, here's the beauty of this. You can't sign up to serve today because it's really easy to get emotional and you hear a story like Heather and you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna put parking cones out. And you sign up and then we follow up with you and you never call us back because it's Tuesday and the emotion's gone. I don't want, that felt personal, didn't it? I don't want this to be an emotional reaction. So you can't sign up today. I don't want you to sign up to serve today. What I want you to do is to take this card. And on your way out today, our usher team is going to give you a magnet. And I just want you to put this magnet on your fridge with the card. And just when you walk by it, just pray. If you're not on a serve team, God, what team do you want me to serve on? And on the back side of it is the opportunity for you to be able to give. So you can start praying about this. Okay, God, husbands and wives, come together. Single adults, be thinking about this. At the end of the year, before I give Christmas gifts to my crazy Uncle Willie that I see once a year, I'm gonna give a gift to faith in the future of what God has done in my life. God, I'm putting you first. So maybe for you, it's a one-time gift. We also offer this 3-month commitment. Maybe you want to expand your giving, but you want to do it into next year. So you could also make a 3-month commitment. Hey, going into 2022, over and above my regular giving, I want to give this amount. Maybe for you, you get a bonus in quarter 1, a tax return, whatever it is. It's just an option for all of us to think a little bit bigger on how we can make December the 5th the most impactful. And then just pray. And over these next 4 weeks on December the 5th, you'll bring this card back and we're gonna have a heart for this home because people's our passion. That's our passion. Would you stand with me today as we close in prayer? Father, we thank you so much for your word. God, the reality is every single one of us that's in a relationship with you, we were that lost coin. We were that lost sheep. We were the prodigal. And God, you welcomed us back into your family. Lord, I thank you so much for stories like Heather who would probably say she had a relationship with you but never felt worthy to be on the dance floor, never really felt worthy to be in an intimate relationship with her creator God. And God, we're grateful for environments like this where people can come and experience your freedom and the release and the power that it is. God, I pray for anybody today that's carrying a 27-month burden, a 2-year burden, God, that they don't leave this place before going to our next step area or having somebody pray with them, God, that they don't have to carry it that long. For the Father instantly restores his son and throws a party. God, that's the kind of Father that you are to us. God, that's what we're given towards in the future. We love you. We're grateful. We pray this in your name. And everybody who agreed said, amen, amen, amen. Thanks, church.
Well, welcome back, everyone.